Good morning, Jimmy.
Jeremy, how are you?
Doing well, thank you very much. Today we are going to talk about taxes.
All right, my favorite.
I know it is, and we're going to talk about taxes in the context a little bit about inflation first.
Yep.
And how that's impacting taxes actually in a positive way.
For sure.
So how in the heck is the inflation crisis that we've been in for some time now? How is that impacting taxes? Well, it's actually simple. The IRS is increasing the tax bracket troughs, if you want to call them that.
Yep.
In a positive way because cost of living has gone up.
Right.
And so all of a sudden you get a wider moat,
Correct.
a wider trough,
right,
for each of these tax brackets. Kind of break that down for us. Let's use an example. You're a married couple.
Yep.
What's the difference here now between 2022
Yep.
and 2023?
So let's look at the I think the 2020, or let's take the 22% tax bracket. So you can see in 2022 the 22% tax bracket started at $83,550 of taxable income. This year, when you file your tax return, the 22% bracket is going to start at $89,450 of taxable income. Now, it's important to understand, without getting into the weeds too much on taxes, which you know I can do. Taxable income is essentially your gross income from all sources, wages, investment income, whatever the case may be, royalties, gambling winnings, however you've been making your money for the year, less your deductions, right? So you can either take the standard deduction, or if you have a lot of mortgage interest or charitable deductions, when you take your income, you back off your deductions, that is your taxable income number. So to make sure we understand this is looking at taxable income. So you're looking at almost a $6,000 jump from that 22% tax bracket, from the $83,550 up to $89,450. And to your point, that's a very meaningful jump.
It is, and just to take that a step further, in that 24% bucket, it's a $12,000 range.
Right.
So even bigger, right? As you would expect, it kind of goes up. So these are positive changes. This is about a 7% increase year over year. And so with inflation rising,
right,
so too do the brackets.
Correct.
Bracket expansion.
Yep.
Good thing. So this is also happening. This news just came out. That's why this is relevant here too. 2024, it's not rising as much. The bracket expansion is not as big. It's about 5.5%.
Still a notable increase, though.
Still a notable increase. It's something that you can kind of see if you dive into these brackets, a little different view and look at them. And for reference, this is from CBS. So if you guys are looking to kind of investigate this a little bit more, it's all out there on the internet, of course. What we want to talk about next is really the implications of what this means. It's good news. So now what?
Yeah, the tax rates have changed. So what?
Okay, right, exactly.
Right, like why does that impact me? So again, I think this is, we're not the calendar year is not over yet, right? So the ability to plan and implement strategies for this current tax year has not passed us by, right? So it's understanding, where do you sit from an income perspective at this point? What are your gross wages and what are your expected deductions for the year, to figure out, where can I start to best estimate that my taxable income is going to finish up for 2023? And then also looking forward into 2024 here, where do I think I might be in 2024? And figuring out, does it make sense for me to be in this in the lower end of the tax bracket that I'm currently in, or would I maybe benefit from accelerating some income into this opportunity that I have with a wider tax bracket to fill more in at the current tax bracket that I'm in? It might be, everybody's very different, right? And
exactly.
their tax positions are made up of different components, but this is where the tax planning piece is so important to assess. Where have you been historically from a tax perspective? Where are we at right now? And to the best ability, what are we able to project out into the future of where your tax bracket is going to be? So there might be opportunity for a number of folks out there to implement some tax planning strategies in 2023 that maybe accelerating income, which is kind of like maybe a bit counterintuitive from a tax perspective.
Right.
Most people want to try to pay as little as possible in taxes, and we're on board with that, but I'd rather pay the least amount of taxes over the course of my lifetime rather than just focusing on paying the least this year. And there might be opportunities for folks to accelerate income into 2023 or 2024 at a bracket that makes a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, it's a nuanced discussion. It's a very personalized discussion. And with that, we're going to move on to the next slide. The implications of the bracket expansion. So once again, it is very nuanced, very personal. You have to have some knowledge about where you're at.
Right.
You got to do a bit of an analysis. That's something we're willing to do at On Track Wealth Management. If people have questions around this, we are willing to help. It's just reach out to us on our website, and we can run a simple analysis for you guys with a few different data points. But we think a handful of the things that you might want to consider are these: Roth conversions, look at required minimum distributions, and there's maybe an ordinary income piece to it as well.
Right. So Roth conversions and required minimum distributions are both forms of ordinary income, right?
Right.
And this is obviously, as we know, we do this for all of our clients, but we're taking a look at where you at from an income perspective and what sources of ordinary income might make sense to produce in a given year. This is controlling your taxes, right? Like, we can't control what the tax brackets are, but we can control to some extent how much income you take in a given year.
Yep.
When it makes sense, we might want to pull out more. So to the bullet points here, Roth conversions, converting from a pre-tax IRA over to a Roth IRA. Well, there's a tax implication to that, right? And that's increasing ordinary income. If you're somebody who's in retirement, who's already reached required minimum distribution age, maybe you were taking out a little bit more than what that minimum amount is, because it might make a lot of sense for you in the long run. And then any other sources of ordinary income, whether it could be interest income, whether it's an ability to accelerate any wage income into the current year that might make sense for you, things like that. So again, very personalized points of discussion here, but certainly no shortage of opportunities for folks to take advantage of the laws as they continue to change.
Well put. And so there's the overlay of, you've got some time here between now and the end of the year. Right, we're in a good spot. We're recording this in November.
Right,
you've got time, and then the context of like you said before, we've got these historically low rates in general,
right,
and then we've got this bracket expansion on top of that. So it's the time to think a little bit out of the box.
Well, we've been living in a historically low interest rate environment for a long time, and we're living in a historically low tax rate environment still to this day.
Yep.
Right. Tax rates haven't changed, and they don't change typically as dynamically as interest rates can. The Federal Reserve impacting that, on an ongoing basis. But I think it requires some deeper critical thinking on. It's been a historically low interest rate environment for over a decade. That has changed. We're in a historically low tax bracket environment. How long might that last? And what can I do about it, and what should I do about it?
Once again, folks, reach out if you have any questions. If you want to have an individualized, personalized analysis performed, we're happy to do that. hello@ontrackplans.com. You can reach us there. Thanks again.
Thank you.